Thank you so much for attending my presentation about Sneasler, the god of death, and first let's talk about its traits. Stat-wise, it's expectedly amazing. In classic current-gen power creep fashion, it's super min-maxed. 130 attack and 120 speed is obviously insane, and even though its defense isn't great, Sneasler can take some hits. But in all honesty, this isn't anything crazy. Where does shit get real? Let's look at its strongest ability, Unburden. When your health item is consumed or lost, your speed is doubled. On a Pokemon like Sneasler, it's almost impossible to outrun. Its stab combination is also very strong. Fighting and poison hits almost everything for neutral damage, only losing out to Ghost. But don't you worry, it also has Throat Chop and Shadow Claw dealing with the Gengars and Goldengos of the world. Or if you aren't worried about them, Terraflying Acrobatics can deal tons of damage. Finally, Sneasler has basically the best setup move it could ask for, Swords Dance. All of this makes its best sets very obvious. The name of the game is activating Unburden as fast as you possibly can. What's the best way to do that? Well, as I talked about in my last video, Terrain Seeds are great. When Terrain is online, they activate, boosting a defensive stat. In Sneasler's case, it loves Grassy Seed, raising defense. This not only serves to double speed, but also make it much more difficult to stop, especially with priority. Then it just kinda runs close combat, Dire Claw, SD, and some form of coverage. All the ones I mentioned earlier work great here. This is actually what Sneasler tends to run both in singles and doubles. There are some differences, especially with the coverage almost always leaning towards acrobatics and VGC, but it's not super crazy. One fun, albeit not great idea is normal gem fake out, giving a free turn to activate. While yeah, now you don't have to run it on Rillaboom teams, you almost always auto-lose to Goldengo or really just every ghost type. By the way, Sneasler could just run a Scarf set instead with Poison Touch. It turns out that the blazing fast fighting type with 130 attack is really good at revenge killing and cleaning. While less used than Unburden sweeping, it can be a big threat throughout games. Okay, cool, so now we know what it does. Let's talk about why it's total fucking bullshit. I've mentioned Dire Claw in passing, but let's look at what it does. It's an 80 base power, 100% accurate poison move, not too wild, but its secondary effect is obscene. It's basically just a better effect spore having a 50% chance to give one of poison, paralysis, or sleep. This introduces way too much variance into games and can literally steal them. One time I was using Sneasler in an online VGC tournament and got a lucky paralysis on their Salamence. Then they kept getting full parried as I just kinda ran through everything else. Shit like this just happens all the time. Is it funny? Absolutely, but it's also horribly balanced. Also, it's just really overtuned across the board. In almost every single way, Sneasler is better than Hawlucha, a fantastic Pokemon. You have almost 40 more attack and can even outrun it. You need to understand, Hawlucha is already great. Making it almost strictly better will be overtuned. Sure, there are reasons to use the wrestling Pokemon like Encore, but it doesn't really compare. Wow, no one saw this one coming. Sneasler got banned from OU with wide support. It was just too difficult to stop once it got going, which wasn't exactly hard. After 1 SD, it's OHKOing a large chunk of Pokemon, and that defense boost is a big deal. You aren't outspeeding it, but Sucker Punch isn't super strong. Even Dragonite Extreme Speed isn't dealing that much damage while you try to roll Dire Claw bullshit or just kill with close combat. Sneasler was just too much for OU to handle. In Ubers though, it was worse. The power level wasn't as absurd compared to legendaries, and it was easier to tank its moves. But in Ubers UU, Sneasler's up to the same shenanigans with its old partner Rillaboom. VGC is a bit different. It's way more exploitable, being pretty frail and not having spread moves. This makes it a bit difficult to fit on teams only working on HO. It can put in a ton of work, but it could also just die against Booster Fluttermane or something. With Regulation H though, it could find a more consistent place, only time will tell. And yes, I'll still be running it. I'm a very bad person. In conclusion, Sneasler is very powerful, but more interestingly, its traits and moves lead to a somewhat uncompetitive nature even when not downright busted. I still love it though, as much as I give it shit. Thank you so much for watching.